Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of NFL Dynasty Picks. We are heading to Week 13. The playoffs are breathing down our necks. Quite a few teams are out there trying to get their last spots for the playoffs. Some teams are just trying to make sure they get their home field advantage throughout the playoffs. We're going to get right into this week's games, and we're going to first talk about the New York Jets traveling to Landover, Maryland to face the Washington Redskins.
Oh, we got to start off with the Redskins. Still kind of shell-shocked that they managed to go to Seattle with one of the worst, loudest sounding home crowds at Seattle. Glad they came out with the win, but I don't think they're going to come home and beat the Jets. So I'm going to New York.
Washington has a tough road ahead. They see such teams as the Jets coming up. They see such teams as the Patriots coming up. The last game of the season, they faced the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the odds of this team winning another game is very, very slim. So, with that being said, I'm going with the Jets.
Well, with the Redskins at home, the Jets are not very good to me. So I think they're very overrated. And their performance on the field is proving it. So you go with the Redskins. Break a little, let's get it.
Sanchez is overrated. The Jets are not overrated.
They are overrated. They rank like almost last in the league in rushing, which is supposed to be their bread and butter, so to speak. And they can't run the ball at all. So
I think with their learning about their identity now, they're not going to have a choice but to run it. So I think they awaken their running game against the middle of the pack rushing D that's it's broke down.
You said the rushing offense?
I was talking about the rushing defense of the Redskins.
No, I'll tell you, you're talking about the Jets, though.
Oh, yeah, he was saying that their rushing offense is kind of slumming.
24th.
Yeah. Well, Sean Guido, Danny, and Thomason, they can open it up anytime they want to. They just need to stop relying on
Sanchez.
Why
don't they? Because they're stupid.
Because they was trying
to. You can't be stupid on the road. I guess you'd be stupid against the Redskins.
Right, like
that's all.
They was doing it in Sanchez we trust, and he does just enough to keep them in passing situations. He lucks up with Birds, how they came back on Buffalo. But I think they opened up the running game this week.
The Jets need this game a little bit more than the Redskins, don't you think? Jets is still trying to fight for that ballpark.
Seattle needed that game last week, and they lost. So, I mean,
I think Seattle realized they was out of it when San Fran went 9-2.
I mean, that's why they play the games,
All right.
Hello?
So you're going with the Skins. All right, speaking of Seattle, they host the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles coming off a loss last week. And we all picked the Philadelphia Eagles to take that victory next week in their quest to continue their drive to get the NFC East, which is still a possibility out there.
We call them dynamic this time. Interesting.
Okay. He just said the Eagles?
Oakland travels to Miami, and we all expect them to pick up another victory. Cincinnati Bengals, back on their winning ways. They go down to Pittsburgh, over to Pittsburgh, and they face the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I still haven't seen a quality win from them, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh, even though that injury to Polamalu kind of scares me. Looks like y'all trying to play him with concussion-like symptoms. You might be having some fines coming your way.
Is that?
Pittsburgh Steelers organization way.
Yeah. He was talking to Pittsburgh. He wasn't talking to me. It's not like I play for the team, work for the team, or am a fan.
Oh, yeah.
I was confused.
Biggest fan.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this. Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty much going to win out the rest of their games all the way to the Super Bowl. Cincinnati's not going to have the firepower to stop them.
I want the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm still not a believer in Cincinnati. I don't care what their record is. They're not going to win the game. I'll leave it at that. I guarantee it.
They'll win some more games, just not this one.
Tennessee going down to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills. Phil and Joel picked the Tennessee Titans to get a 2-game streak going here, where I picked the Buffalo Bills to end that. I'm a Tebow believer. Kansas City.
Buffalo.
I'm sorry, wrong team.
Yo, Ryan Fitzpatrick believer.
Wrong team.
Stevie Johnson.
Wrong team.
CJ.
I'm getting ahead to the next game, Denver, Minnesota, but we're going to go to Kansas City, Chicago, where all three of us decided the Chicago Bears should be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and Minnesota and Denver. Joe picks the Denver Broncos. He's a Tebow believer.
Oh, please.
Sip at the Tebow juice.
I can't stand Tim Tebow. I just think they're going to win the game.
They seem
because of their defense.
They seem to be able to pull off victories here, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull off the victory against the Minnesota Vikings, who's starting to come into their own a little. They haven't been able to win, but they've been able to have impressive losses, if that makes any sense. It's still a loss, in my opinion, but I think this will be a win for them. Atlanta and Houston. Here's a tough game with playoff implications for both teams. Atlanta needs this victory. Houston is currently still the #1 seed, and they would like to keep it, but the way they're going right now, it looks like that might go down to a wild card spot. What do you think?
I'm thinking wild card for Houston. See, it just they're trying to derail with the injury of Matt Shaw. Matt Leinart has, you can't say someone proved themselves with another injury, but Matt Leinart's just not a pro quarterback. You know, and T.J. Yates come in for half a minute. And then they just signed Jake Delhomme, former Carolina Panther, who I don't see, old, and I don't see him being able to manage the game enough to keep them at the spot where they are now. I'm going with Atlanta.
Okay, I'm going to go with Houston to win this one. They need to keep up the momentum. Atlanta has not proven anything to me. The most impressive victory they had was against the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was only because Michael Vick got injured. And the Philadelphia Eagles weren't prepared. So, don't have Atlanta win this one. I'm going to go with Houston. That's pretty much a limb shot because they could put off this upset, but they won't. Houston.
This is a very tough pick, but I'm going to go with Atlanta. Got to go with quarterback play. You got to go with more talent. Well, I'm not going to say more talented team, but at least a healthier team with maybe a little less talented, but they're healthy.
I'm going to say, talent-wise, it'd be Houston with Andre Johnson, Ben Tate, and Arian Foster.
Yeah, but they're hurt. So
Johnson came back, and Ben Tate and Arian Foster are still playing. So they have their rushing attack, and they got their main wide receiver back. They had no quarterback to get the ball to Andre Johnson, which is why I'm picking Atlanta.
Which makes them irrelevant. So we'll go with Atlanta.
Speaking of Jake Delhomme, his last team, or his old team, goes to Tampa to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All three of us feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though I'm not completely sure. I think Carolina can pull that off if they play properly. But we all picked Tampa Bay Buccaneers to defeat the Carolina Panthers. Indianapolis will continue their losing ways, scoring us against the New England Patriots. Not even going to mention any more of that. Baltimore faces Cleveland for another AFC North divisional game. And we all picked Baltimore to win. Don't expect that one to look like a blowout, though. My opinion on that one, folks. Green Bay travels to New York. New York is coming off a heartbreaking loss. Green Bay is coming off, once again, a victory.
Why should it stop? Let's keep on going with Green Bay.
Yeah, the New York Giants are pretty much out of this. They lost the division now. Their rest of their season, they might lose out, to be honest with you. I think they might win 1 or 2 games. They might break off even, which leaves the NFC East open for one team, the Dallas Cowboys right now, which seems to be on hot fire. But I still see them losing a couple more games. All they need to lose is 3 more games, and Philadelphia is taking their spot. So they need to lose 3 more games. One of those games they face coming up will be against the Philadelphia Eagles, so they have a very good chance. If the Philadelphia Eagles win out, they will win the division. That's just the only way they're going to make playoffs because they're capable of getting wild card right now. So unfortunately for the Giants, they're going to end up as the 3rd place of the NFC East over only the Washington Redskins. I'm going to go Green Bay. And we know Joe's going to go with Green Bay because he's hopped on them for some reason lately. So what do you say?
Well, first of all, Green Bay has won every game this season, if you did not know. And on the Giants' standpoint, they're just not a good team right now. The defense stinks. The running game is completely disappeared. Brandon Jacobs, he was a complete disaster on Monday night. I couldn't believe, based on how he used to run the ball maybe 3 or 4 years ago, he was, I don't know, you saw the game?
Yeah.
He looked horrible.
He looks too big to be the type of running back he is.
He dances too much.
Right. When he used to just hit the hole and bowl over people, you know, he was alright. When he bowled over Roman Harper for that touchdown, it looked a little bit like an old vintage Brandon Jacobs. Yeah. But for every bowl over, which every truck you would say he had, there was plenty of times when he hit the hole, and the smallest linebacker that the Saints had put an arm around him and wrapped him around and tackled him. I was like, what kind of guy is this? He's too big if he's going to stand up and try to hit a hole, because everyone can reach him. There's too much of him to run like that. Yeah. Okay, the defense of the Giants is not bad. It's all predicated on the front four. If the front four does bad, the whole defense does bad. Okay, they have a alright secondary. Their linebackers play to their strengths. It's not much. But if their front four is doing what they're supposed to do, you don't see all the weaknesses in the back of the Giants secondary. Just that you got Justin Tuck hurt, O.C. Human, yours kind of slumming. Dias Kiwanuka is not doing what he's supposed to do, and Jason Pierre-Paul is the only one that's...
Can you have basic names? My gosh.
Hey, that's their line. That's the line.
Gosh. What happened to the good old last name?
Who knows, man? But they got some athletes on that defensive line. The only one who decided to play last night was Pierre-Paul. And it wasn't like he was
simple name.
Right, it wasn't like he was catching Drew Brees. He was the one saving touchdowns. No one could get to Drew Brees. So,
overall, the NFC East has been very underwhelming, and which is why I disagree with Chris. I do think they have a chance just because the NFC East has been so bad this year.
So you have Washington bringing them down.
You want to talk. But I'm going with the Packers.
Shocker. Okay, speaking of the, we talked about the Giants, we talked about the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys currently number one unchallenged on top of the NFC East, so they'll be facing their old arch rivals, or old rivals in the NFC East back in like 20 years ago. The Arizona Cardinals, who I always called the upset team.
St. Louis back then?
Arizona Cardinals? I'm
What
sorry,
St. Louis Cardinals?
The Cardinals.
Phoenix Cardinals.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyway, the bottom line is the three of us figured that Dallas will be able to defeat the Arizona Cardinals, but that's another one I think can go upset if Arizona plays that probably. St. Louis versus San Francisco. San Francisco coming off their first loss in quite a long time, which I predicted. And now they face the St. Louis Rams, who should be able to get them back on track by losing to the San Francisco 49ers, and we all agree on that one. And Monday Night Football, San Diego Chargers facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. All three of us think that game should be a stinker for a Monday Night Football game, but San Diego should be able to play and win if certain people are doing their job. Last game we're going to talk about is the Detroit Lions going to the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints coming off a big victory on Monday night against the New York Giants.
Yeah, as much as I just got finished oogling about Drew Brees, I'm going with the Saints.
Huh?
I'm talking about Drew Brees against the Giants.
So I'm not going to disagree with Phil on this one. I'm going to have to go with the New Orleans Saints also. The Detroit Lions.
I thought you were trying to say that oogling was a negative thing. But
no, it's a very positive thing.
After starting off the season strong, the Detroit Lions now are lucky to be able to end with an 8-8 record. One of those 8 losses against the New Orleans Saints. Going with the Saints.
I'm going with New Orleans. I think Detroit is starting to go downhill, and defense is falling apart. Undisciplined, as we all know. And New Orleans is hot right now. At home, you can't go against them.
Well, that's it for us here at Week 13. We spent a lot of time talking about names I can't pronounce, but
do your research.
Like in Dynasty.
Hopefully we'll have it. I mean, I didn't really see
talk about him being suspended.
I didn't really even see any interesting games, but hopefully this week we'll see some interesting games. Thursday Night Football, Philadelphia, Seattle might end up being a good one. Of course, Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. Pittsburgh always puts on a very good show.
So they kind of slummed against Kansas City.
Tomorrow, the bottom line is, last week, a much more interesting week as Joe came out 12-4, Phil came out 12-4. They did very, very well, very, very commendable. This guy came out 13-3 though to take the complete lead overall with 101 victories and 57 losses. Joe's in second place.
I want to recount.
Joe is fine, no problem. Last week, Green Bay and Detroit, all the way down, all the Thursday games, all the way to 4 o'clock. Chris
I
won.
wanted to recount of that. I'm just trying to determine who's who.
Who's who?
Who's 88 and 54?
Phil, Chris, Joe. Just like this.
You sure?
Positive. That's what I've been doing this week. Right now, Phil, Chris, Joe. Phil is 99 victories, 59 losses. I'm 101 victories, 57 losses. You're a distant second with 100 victories and 58 losses.
Fucking damn it.
Alright, cool.
So I started off at the bottom and I'm climbing my way up top. Why? Because I get hotter as the season progresses. Earlier this season, I was going by last season when I saw preseason, and as I said before, doesn't mean crap. Washington got in line, and we now know what's going down. Me, number one, thanks to you for voting for me, for supporting me, all you YouTube watchers and followers who are probably not watching this right now because it's not been posted or uploaded. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching, okay? So once again, for Joe, for Phil, and for myself, thank you for watching and enjoying this week of football.
Oh, yeah.